Today in statistics we are going to see about collection of data. What is meant by collection of data? It refers to a systematic recording of results, either may be counting or by enumerating. Enumerating in the sense calculating. So the entire structure of statistical analysis for any type of inquiry is based on systematic collection of data. ஸோ ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எந்த மாதிரியான டேட்டாவாக இருந்தாலும் அதை நம்ம ஒரு சிஸ்டமேட்டிக்காக ரூல்ஸ் அண்ட் ரெகுலேஷன்ஸ் ஃப்ரேம் பண்ணி நம்ம அதை பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா அந்த டேட்டா will be a accurate data. So collection of data in the sense systematic record. Okay, so sources of data collection we have. Do you know data collection methods? Of course we have two types of data collections. One is primary data and the other one is secondary data. So what is meant by primary data and what is meant by secondary data? Do you have any idea about primary versus secondary? Okay, let me explain. Primary data, for example, you will be noticing that some people will be coming to your house and they'll be asking about your number of family members, their income and so on. So we call them as census. So census in the sense taking population. Okay, so like that people straight away comes and take data from you, collect information from you. Primary data in the sense collecting data for the first time. It may be an investigator or else an enumerator. So they'll be working under supervision for a particular purpose. Such data will be original in nature. So in India, some organizations like CSO, Census of India, NSS. CSO in the sense Central Statistical Organization. NSS means National Sample Survey. RBI will collect primary data. So census in the sense 10 years once they'll be taking. I think you all be aware about it, right? So Reserve Bank of India and all collect primary data. That is information collected for the first time is known as primary data. Now we'll move towards secondary data. Secondary data in the sense it refers to the data which is originally collected and published by the authorities other than who require it. Okay, that is the data has been already collected by someone else and we are going to reuse it. Okay, such data is already available from the government publications, research study materials, journals or newspaper, whatever may be. So it is already published. So if you are using the data already published by some authorities, that is known as secondary data. So what are all the sources of secondary data? One is published sources, another one is unpublished sources. Published sources in the sense like journals, research study, like that. Unpublished sources in the sense maybe data can be written in some diary on some newspaper, like that. So primary in the sense collecting data for the first time. Secondary in the sense the data has been collected and has been reused, that is published. We are using the published. Secondary or else second hand information. Okay, so published, as I told you, published sources in the sense it may be relating to some international organizations or national organizations or some agencies which are giving the published source of informations. Unpublished in the sense maybe diary written or else private agencies or some unpublished source of data. Now we'll move towards methods of collecting primary data. In primary data, we have direct personal interview, indirect oral interview, information from correspondence, mailed questionnaire, schedule sent through enumerators, and telephonic survey. So, these are all the methods of collecting primary data. Direct personal interview, in the sense information will be collected personally. Indirect oral interview, in the sense the person may not be present, but the questions will be sent to enumerator or invigilator. Information from correspondence, in the sense maybe from neighbor's house, or else some other people will get information. Maybe this type of method will be used by police officials. That is what has happened to the near house, when was the theft happened, like that. So information from correspondence. Mailed questionnaire method, the questionnaire will be sent through email. Then schedule sent through enumerators, in the sense a set of questionnaires will be sent to an invigilator or enumerator, and from them we will collect informations. Telephonic survey, in the sense through telephonic interview will get informations. So these are the methods of primary data collection. In today we have discussed about what is meant by data collection, what are all the methods of data collection, that is primary data and secondary data, what is meant by primary data and what is meant by secondary data, what are all the sources of secondary data, that is published source and unpublished source, and what are all the methods of collecting primary data we have discussed today. Okay, thank you.